Hello again, everyone. I'd like to take a moment and acknowledge the passing of the Reverend Billy Graham. He died yesterday. He was 99 years old. And for those of you who don't know who he was a Protestant clergyman, or he was an evangelist. In other words, he traveled all over holding church services. I believe he made it to something like 185 countries. He started somewhere in 1948, 1949, something like that. And he went international probably in 1954. But he went all over. He referred to himself as God's ambassador. And there wasn't any place he wouldn't go. He even went to North Korea, to the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, and where he met President Kim Il-sung, and they became pretty good friends. They were total opposites. Reverend Billy Graham was a Christian, or what North Koreans refer to as a believer. President Kim Il-sung was an atheist. They were complete polar opposites, and yet they became friends. And Reverend Graham's wife, Ruth Graham, she was, I believe she was born in China. She was the daughter of medical missionaries. And then when she was 13, they traveled, relocated to Pyongyang, and where Ruth attended high school from 13 years old. And she had 3 years of high school in Pyongyang. So she had her childhood roots in Pyongyang. So this was kind of a big thing for for her to say, yeah, I was educated in Pyongyang. And remember, North Korea before World War II, North Korea was something like 35 or 37% Christian. It was called the Jerusalem of the East because there were so many Christians in the north there. President Kim Il-sung was very kind towards Reverend Graham. He treated him with great hospitality. Here's a picture of Reverend Graham giving one of his books. The book is entitled Peace with God, and here he's giving it to President Kim Il-sung, and Kim Il-sung is looking through it. So, but not only that, Reverend Graham, not only was he preaching or talking about God to the North Koreans, but he also did charitable works. He had that great charitable organization of his, Samaritan's Purse. And they're in something like 100 countries. And they're doing things, feeding people, giving them clothing, housing, and helping them out. And it's in North Korea. And Samaritan's Purse, among other Christian organizations, a surprising number are at work in North Korea. Of course, the American government has criminalized travel to North Korea, where now if you travel to North Korea, you're a huge fine, $50,000 or $100,000, and put in prison for, 10, 20 years. I don't know what it is, but it's a lot. So if you travel to North Korea, you're in big, big trouble with the United States government. They come down with a very heavy hand. I mean, people from other countries can travel to North Korea, but not the United States. And so I don't know what that does to charitable organizations, whether they're shut down or not. Now you compare and contrast Reverend Graham with another person who claims to be a Christian, and that person is Mike Pence, Vice President, the current Vice President of the United States, Mike Pence. And he makes a big thing about being a Christian. He was the governor of Indiana, and he ran on, being right there in the Bible Belt, a real Bible pounder. He can quote scriptures, goes to church a lot. He gives off the impression of being a holy man. He does, all this. And yet, when he went to North Korea for the Olympics, he wouldn't even look at Kim Yo-jong, the granddaughter of Kim Il-sung. He wouldn't even look at her. He wouldn't shake her hand or anything. He ignored her. And something that Reverend Billy Graham would never have done. Reverend Billy Graham would have greeted Kim Yo-jong warmly, but not Mike Pence. Mike Pence is a hypocrite, pure and simple. And, you know, I doubt he says he's a Christian, but I doubt it. Because you can't be a Christian if you don't do charitable works. You can claim all day you can be a Christian. But if you don't help people out, if you don't feed them and clothe them. And see, Mike Pence is from these, he's part of the, he's gone over to the dark side, in my opinion, to where he's joined forces with these ugly deep state people. They're angry, they're ugly, they're physically unattractive people. They're hateful, and they wear their hate on their face. And these people would not give a grain of rice to a starving child in North Korea, because their theory is that if the people in North Korea starve, then they'll blame it on their government and they'll rise up and overthrow their government, which is what these ugly deep state people want to happen. It's not going to happen, but that's what they want to happen. So Mike Pence claims to be a Christian, but like I say, not a single grain of rice would he give to a starving child in North Korea. Sad, but that's true. And so that's where we are. And so you can contrast Mike Pence, this person, who I don't regard as a Christian, with a true Christian, with the Reverend Billy Graham. And Billy Graham was such a good Christian that he actually had a good relationship with a Marxist-Leninist revolutionary, Kim Il-sung. So there you go. So I just wanted to mention that in passing and just leave you with that. It's kind of sad. But, you know, that's the kind of people as Americans, that's the kind of people we have running the show now. You know, they mouth off, oh yeah, I'm a Christian, I believe in Jesus, I believe in God. You know, and yet their works, it's like the Apostle Paul said, I believe it was in James, the 2nd chapter of James, if memory serves. Faith without works is dead. You can claim to have all the faith you want to, but if you don't help people, you're doomed. You're dead. So anyway, I'll just leave it at that, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.